retain a forehand grip. Don't change to a backhand grip when you're playing the high overhead backhand. Yeah? Because the power just comes from the shot, the forearm and the wrist. Okay? And the thumb. If you change to a backhand grip, which is here, then you'll find great difficulty going cross court. If you're very, very wide on your backhand side, near the sideline, it's very difficult to keep it in the court. You put a lot of shuttles out wide. So retain a forehand grip, give you more power, keep the shuttle in court, and then you can also go cross court as well. A couple more backhand clears, watch please. Put the shuttle over here and deep into the court. There, now I didn't quite hit that as clean, you could hear that. See if I can hit a nice clean, crisp backhand, and you can hear the difference. Listen, there, it's a much crisper and cleaner sound, much greater distance. That shuttle went another 4 foot deeper into the court, right to the back of the court. Couple more clears. Turn and hit. Try and relax as you hit. It will actually give you more power. Okay, that's the clear. Let's have a look at the drop shot now. The backhand overhead drop shot is played with a slight follow-through action and a more uncocking of the wrist so as to bring the shuttle down. Yeah? Watch please. Turn. There. Just over the net, here, there, closer to the front service line. Ideally, I should try to get the shuttle dropping in front of the front service line. Again, even tighter to the net. That's the ideal one. That dropped halfway between the net and the front service line. Very, very difficult shot for your opponent to get back. And also when you play this drop shot, roll that wrist round to here. It will keep the shuttle close to the top of the net as it crosses the net, and thereby make it very difficult for an opponent to attack it, because as soon as it crosses close to the top of the net, it's now dropping below the level of the net, which makes it very difficult for your opponent to attack it and hit it down. Yeah? They can either lift it or at best block it to the net. Okay. Another 3 more drop shots on the backhand side. Let's get this deeper into the court. Watch please. Turn. And a follow through action. I'm playing straight. I could go cross court by turning the wrist and playing a little bit harder to make sure that I take the shot cross court. You can quite safely and rightly play straight, drop shots into the middle, especially if your opponent playing level doubles and shuttles in the air and your opponents are side by side in their mid-court halves. Play the drop shot into the middle of the court, cause confusion, very good, very good. Or play cross court if you're playing singles. Be careful about going cross court on the doubles, have to be precise. One more. Drop shot, watch please. Keep your eye on the shuttle, right onto the hit. Bang, I've hit it. I turn. I have to do it in slow motion so you can appreciate that I actually was watching the shuttle. Okay, finally, the backhand smash. Very, very difficult shot. The advice that I would give as a coach of 27 years now and a professional coach of 15 years is do not try attempt the backhand smash if you are too deep in the court. Okay? Even the very best players in the world will not consider smashing from here, let alone from here. Okay? They will only consider smashing the shuttle if the shuttle is 3/4 court or mid-court. They're mid-court, okay? Or further forward. The further forward you are, the more that you should attempt the backhand smash. Now, I said earlier with the backhand smash, as with the backhand drop shot, you're going to rotate the wrist round, and that is vital. If you do not fully uncock the wrist, rotate the wrist round, so now the backhand face of the racket is pointing towards the floor, yeah, then your shuttle will not go down. And it's not a smash unless it goes down, okay? Also, on the backhand side, you're not going to create much power. So if that shuttle doesn't go down, then it could go up into the mid-court and give your opponent an opportunity to attack it. So keep it going down. That's a very good maxim to have, yeah? Keep the shuttle going downwards. So watch, please. Backhand smash. Absolutely vital that you keep your eye on the shuttle and you are watching the shuttle through. Another one. Watch, please, how the wrist is coming through. Ooh, in the net. Let's get one over. It's difficult to get the timing and the feed right. That's better. It came down nice, with sufficient power as well. Sufficient speed. Even better. In terms of its steepness. And better again. It's going down steeper now. That last one hit the centre of the court. Slightly in front of the centre. One more. Watch, please. Watch. Turn. And there. Okay? Hi. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play underarm shots. There are only 3 types of underarm shots. First, the block on the backhand, in the centre on the backhand, and you can even block out to the racket side, or block using the forehand. The push. The push is used to get the shuttle past a front player and to keep them away from the net. The block is to play a soft shot just over the net, either from your opponent's smash or from a drive or a return block. And lastly, the lift. Notice that I'm using the backhand when the shuttle is dropping in the middle. Very difficult to use the forehand to lift. So it's very difficult to access the right-hand side of your court, the racket side of your court. Yeah? Whereas with the backhand, you can access any corner and you have more power as well, more flick power. So make sure that you use your backhand when the shuttle drops in the middle of the court, in front of you. Only use the forehand when the shuttle is wide on your racket side. Okay, the third one, the third shot, underarm shot, it could be underarm or it could be slightly shoulder height, is the drive. Now the drive is used to push the shuttle in a fast action past the front player. You can do this from your opponent's smash to keep the shuttle away from the front player and drive it down the channels, down the side channels, in front of the rear court players attacking and past the front player. Okay, let me just demonstrate now. First of all, block. Stand, make from a ready position, block the shuttle just over the net. Certainly from the middle of the court, the middle of your body. Block. Notice that I'm trying to step forward my racket leg. And the block action, the stroke action is quite short. And then on the forehand side, block. Just over the net. Stepping forward again. Stepping forward with the racket leg. And make sure that you use your non-racket arm, my left arm, out behind you. As your racket goes forward, your non-racket arm, my left arm in this case, goes backwards. The push. If the smash comes towards me, I can push the shuttle past the front player into the mid-court channels. Either cross-court, past the front player and in front of the rear court player. I don't want to lift it for him to be able to smash. So a little push, down the side channels. Easier to do on the forehand, on the backhand than it is on the forehand. Push with the forehand. Action is quite short. There. So I'm bringing the racket back slightly using the wrist and using most of the wrist and forearm rotation, pronation in this case. That's the action. On the backhand side, there. Just a little push. There's the block. There's the push. The racket comes back slightly further and goes through further. Lastly, the drive. Shuttle comes too fast, drive the shuttle back to the rear court. Or past your opponent, the front opponent, into the corners. On the forehand side, you could actually drive the shuttle straight through the front player. In this position here, I'm assuming that your opponents are in an attack formation, front and back, and the danger is the front player. You've got to somehow get it past the front player or block it tight enough to the net, just over the net, that the front player can't exploit it and attack it. So that is underarm strokes. Okay? I've got to finish off now with the lift. Lift to the rear court and high. Try to disguise it with a hold and flick action. In other words, don't telegraph, don't let your opponent know that you're going to play the lift. Just delay it slightly. And then with a little flicking action, send the shuttle to the rear court with a very short, sharp action. On the forehand side, there. Try to find the corners rather than lift into the middle. If you do want to lift, that's an advanced tactic. You can lift into the middle because that will reduce the angles of return. I'll discuss that in the second video. More advanced tactics. So notice that I am stepping forward with my racket leg and having lifted, go straight back into the ready position, defensive position to prepare against the greatest threat, which is your opponent's smash. But from this position here, you can go forward to cover the drop shot, you can go backwards to cover a possible attack clear, and you can definitely be in a better position to defend against your opponent's smash. Okay, that's underarm strokes. Hi, in this lesson I'm going to teach you about movement. Movement is a very, very difficult part of the game of badminton, which many players do not fully appreciate. Now movement, to understand and improve your movement, you must consider and take into account various factors. Firstly, your posture. Try to be in a ready position, please, when you're during the rally. That is, the feet wider than the width of your shoulders, knees bent, racket out in front of you and in the middle, yeah? And your non-racket arm level with your racket arm, okay? Level with your racket arm, there. And the racket angle, head of the racket angle, so it's in the middle of your body, so you can cover left or right equally. Okay. Of course, if you're receiving serve, then your posture should be like so. Non-racket foot forward, racket foot back, racket up, non-racket arm up as well. Okay. Now, the next thing you need to consider is your balance and posture. Yeah? That was your stance there, the ready position. Balance and posture, what do I mean by that? Well, playing in a balanced way is obviously going to benefit you. You can play better shots, you can recover better, yeah? And you therefore will use less energy as well. You'll be more efficient with your consumption of your energy. There, going forward, notice that my balance, I'm totally in balance there. I'm keeping the trunk of my body in the center between my legs. So there, I'm using my non-racket arm as a counterbalance to my racket arm. My racket arm goes forward, my non-racket arm goes back. And look at the feet. The racket foot points in the direction of travel. The non-racket foot points out to the sideline. There. Okay? and it comes over rather than here. Yeah? If you're moving forward in this way, then you put a lot of stress on your calf muscle and the adjoining Achilles tendon. So don't do that, and it will also reduce it will jeopardize your calf and Achilles tendon, and it will reduce your ability to be able to reach further. So there, that foot should come out to the side. Okay. And that also applies going backwards as well. If I go back, there, you see that my trunk is right in the middle of my legs. My non-racket arm is up in front of me, my racket arm is behind to prepare for the overhead stroke. Yeah, I can chasse back, hit, and then back into a ready position. That is a controlled movement. I'm controlling my body, yeah, around the court in my movements. The other thing we need to consider is our footwork. Footwork is vital to enable you to get around the court. Now, when you move forward, your footwork should be so. To move forward to this side here, your racket side, as a right-handed player, there are two ways that you can move. Firstly, you can step with the non-racket foot across and end with a lunge. Okay, I'll do that again. Watch please. From a ready position, this is during the rally. I want to get over to there, to the front corner of my court. I step with the left foot and end with a lunge. Another way to get there is to step with the racket foot, cross over chassis, and end with a lunge. Watch again, please. This time, instead of stepping with the non-racket foot, I'm stepping across with the racket foot, cross over chassis, there, and then end with a lunge. In real time, it looks like this. Step, crossover, lunge. Over to the left-hand side, the backhand side, front, the movement is this. Chasse, lunge. So, chasse, lunge. Going backwards then. Very difficult. Moving backwards is more difficult, far more difficult than moving forwards, because you can't see behind you. So, the correct footwork for moving back is this. From a ready position, when the shuttle is hit to your rear court, the first thing you must do is pivot. Pivot on your non-racket foot and swing your body sideways, there. So now, your non-racket foot is pointing forward, your non-racket arm is up in front of you, and your racket arm is here. Okay? Your racket pointing towards the shuttle. Then to move backwards, you make a chasse movement, and then hit whatever you're hitting, be it clear, drop, or smash. Stepping through, and back into the ready position. Let me show you that again. So, shuttle goes up behind me, I turn, chasse, hit and step through, and then step forward back into the ready position. Okay, thank you. That's movement. Hi, in this lesson I'm going to teach you about positional play. Now there are three different disciplines in badminton. There is singles, level doubles and mixed doubles. Okay? In singles, you should try to take up, I'm going to talk about base positions here. And in singles, the base position is right in the middle of the court. Because you alone have got to cover the court. Okay? The court being the 17 foot wide by 22 foot long. Okay? So you're playing right to the back line, serving and playing right to the back line. You disregard the inside back line, which is the back boundary for the double serve. Yeah? So in singles, right to there. So you need to be at base, which is in the middle of the court. Okay? Now, positional play in singles. If you are forced to the rear court, you must hit and try to regain base. It's very important. Whichever corner you go to, if you're forced out into this corner here, regain base. So now you can cover any shot to any corner. That's basically singles, basic singles. I'm just going to elaborate on a little bit more advanced singles position here. What you should do, if you lift into your opponent's backhand corner on the right hand side as you are looking, your base should not be right in the middle of the court. You should alter your base to slightly inside to there. Otherwise, you are leaving that channel very open and your opponent could hit an attacking clear straight down onto your forehand side, or a smash, and you'll struggle to get it if you are here. It's just too much gap. So you just come over slightly inside the centre line. Same applies. If you lift into the forehand corner, the left-hand side, deep as you're looking, you shouldn't be right in the middle of the court. You should be slightly inside the centre. So you move your base over to the side where you've hit. Otherwise, there's too much gap. Your opponent can smash and you won't get that. Or clear. Smash is the danger. So that is positional play for singles. If you're forced forward, for instance, if you come in and play a net shot, you should come upright and guard the net. Just in case it comes back and you can attack it. And if it comes over your head to the ricochet, if it's a lift, turn, 2 chassis back and hit. Okay? Singles positional play. Quite simple actually. Now let's talk about level doubles positioning. In level doubles, which is 2 ladies playing against 2 ladies, or 2 gentlemen playing against 2 gentlemen, you have a standard system of positional play, as opposed to mixed doubles, which I'll cover last. So in level doubles, you could be defensive, side by side, and you should be when the shuttle is high in your opponent's court, so you should defend against a smash, or you could be front and back in an attack formation, which you should try to get into so you can put maximum pressure on your opponents, when they have lifted to you. So your partner or you go back to the lift, and the other partner goes forward to 1 yard behind the tee. That's a general rule. 1 yard behind the tee, the front player should be here with the racket up and looking to kill anything loose at the net. But it depends now on what your partner does with the lift. If your partner smashes, you as the front player should stay 1 yard behind that tee. If your partner, and looking to kill anything loose, if your partner plays a drop shot, drop just over the net, and you as the front player should go in to cover any net return. So go into the net on your opponent's drop shot. And if your opponent plays a clear, which is not advisable actually, unless the clear is extremely accurate, not expected, and particularly onto the backhand side or into the middle in between the 2 side-by-side defensive pair, they're not expecting it, then the front player should come back to a mid-court defensive position, and the player in the rear court playing the clear should come forward. So you're now defensive. Okay? Now, both the serving side and the receiving side are both in attack formations. So it depends who gives the lift away, who lifts first, as to who then goes defensive. Yeah? The pair lifting must go defensive. Yeah? Try to not go defensive. Try to block and push so that you force your opponents to lift. The pair that forces the lift will be on the ascendancy, will be in charge of the rally, and will win more of the rallies than they will lose, which is obviously a good thing, especially with the rally point scoring system, where every rally won or lost is a point, won or lost. Okay, now, let's have a look now at positional play in terms of what happens when the shuttle comes down in between you. If you're defensive side by side and the shuttle comes down the middle as a smash, the person who takes it with the backhand